mom came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucks winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year. And they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets.
You said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's two of the top 5 players in the league, and they are very, very good.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to The Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA top 10 performers in the playoffs. Finally, the first round is over. The Warriors played well. We talked about all the other second round matchups, but now we have Warriors versus Lakers. It's probably, we're recording before it starts, but we kind of vented about the NBA schedule. It's going to be a very intriguing matchup because I think both teams have a fair chance to win this series.
Yeah, a lot of experience on both sides. A lot of players on both those teams have won championships before, especially the core of the Lakers, which is LeBron and Anthony Davis. And then obviously with the Warriors, you have the threesome of Curry, Clay, and Draymond.
Yeah, so I'm probably still going to go Warriors on this one. My prediction's already messed up. Or I had the Warriors winning, but I had them facing the Grizzlies.
Yeah, did you have the Warriors winning that series?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay, because I know I had Warriors going to the Western Conference Finals, so I'm sticking with Warriors as well.
Okay. Yeah. So that's your brief recap. Yeah, just thinks that it was this way, but
we had no choice.
We had no choice. Schedules were conflicted, and the NBA is terrible at scheduling. So this is now, we'll go into the top 10 performers. I forgot to introduce, it's the man that believed in the Lakers, Austin.
I did. I believed in the experience. I believed in LeBron. I believed in AD, and maybe those players will be on my top 10 playoff performers, Kevin. But do you want to start with number 10?
Yes. I'm making a brief change. I didn't have this man on my list. It's Austin Reeves.
Wow. Austin Reeves at number 10. Is that partially because you didn't expect him to be this good in the playoffs this far, or?
Yeah. This is mostly on game 1. And I'm mostly going on stats with this one. I wasn't able to watch a couple of games, but yeah. I almost had Trae Young, but Trae Young had some bad games as well. But Austin Reeves, to me, was it's just shocking. I think I've talked about this in the second round. He was given the ball at the end of a key game in game 1 when LeBron was on the court. It wasn't LeBron was sitting. No, it was they're going to go with Austin Reeves. And him declaring he's him was pretty interesting. So I think he makes it in the top 10.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially going along the lines of no one really expected him to average 16.5, 5.3, and 5. He played well, but my number 10, it's LeBron. Now, this wasn't the greatest LeBron series of his career, but averaging an impressive 11.2 rebounds per game is shocking. Him averaging 1 steal, 1.3 blocks, only 5.2 assists. And I say only because his career average in the playoffs is 5.2. I mean 7.2. He only averaged 22.2 points per game, which, and he shot 19.5% from 3. But his effect on the game defensively was great. He made some big shots. He still shot 49% from the field. So while this may not be prime LeBron, he still is playing at a high level.
Yeah, I didn't have it on my list, but I totally understand. But yeah, it wasn't his best, but still pretty good. Number 9 is your guy, Davion Mitchell.
Wow. You're going off the beaten path here. You're going for guys that, again, had to show up for their team to make it as far as they did. Now, Davion Mitchell only averaging 7.1 points, but his main job was to guard Curry.
Yes.
Unfortunately for him, he did not play much in Game 7, and maybe for the detriment of the team.
Yeah, it's not on his points. He's on here because of his defensive and how he was just annoying Curry and affecting Curry. And yeah, it was key. And I would have played him more in Game 7, but yeah, I think this is one way he can get on the court, and this is a guy you've been talking about. So defensively, I'm like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah, my number 9 is De'Aaron Fox, his teammate. We gone teammate for teammate. You went Reeves and Mitchell. I went LeBron and Fox. Fox, I feel bad for him. He didn't shoot great in Game 7, but with a broken finger, a fractured finger, in fact, that just it really hurts your performance ability. He still averaged 27.4 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, 7.7 assists, and an impressive 2.1 steals per game. He was the whole reason why this series went to 7, and I really, really enjoyed watching him. If he could have hit that shot in game, I believe it was 4 against the Warriors, where they lost 126 to 125, where he had 38 points and was still fully healthy. If he could have hit that shot, they probably win this series easily.
Yeah, he was a key contributor. He's a little bit higher on my list, but I'll go to my this is my 7, right?
8.
Okay, 8. And that's Jaylen Brown. He had one bad game, but he was still playing incredibly well, and I think he's a great player on this Celtics team and one of the key leaders. He only had 15 points and 18 points in game 2 and game 3, but he had 29, 31, 35, and 32 in the closeout. He's just a great defender, and I really like how well he's playing so far.
Okay, well, my number 8, we're finally breaking up from teammates or even same conference with this one. I'm going Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's a historically great playoff performer, and he's continued that throughout. 8.7 attempts per game from 3. He's made 46.2%, 28.3 points per game, 6.8 assists, 5.5 rebounds, and he's a huge reason why the gentleman sweep happened against the Timberwolves. And while this is only based on round 1, he obviously also contributed to the fact that the Nuggets took the lead in the series against the Suns.
Yes, I saw that. I don't really have any Nuggets players on here because I thought it was mostly just great, even though Jokic played incredible. Yeah, so I saw your surprise face. I focused on they just weren't on my list for this one.
That's fine.
But next I have Tyrese Maxey. This is a guy who really stepped up for the Sixers. He didn't do well, or if I pull up his stats, he had 30 points. He's a guy that can step in, and I didn't really believe in him. But with the Nets, first game he only had 13 and 16 the final game. And he had 33 and 25, and he really filled in for when James Harden was ejected in that, I believe, game 3.
Yeah, and he was a big reason why they swept. He hit 50% from 3 on 7.5 attempts during his 4 games in round 1. Definitely was huge. My number 7 is a guy that I feel bad for as well. He didn't play all that great in the first game of the play-in tournament, but man, did he turn it on when the true playoffs came around. And that's Anthony Edwards. 31.6 points per game, 5 and 5 assists and rebounds, 1.8 steals, 2 blocks. While he couldn't hit the 3 all that effectively, he was a huge reason that series even went 5, which is impressive considering the fact that the Nuggets were extremely close to sweeping them.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards is becoming a really good young player and a key star. We'll just have to see how he does, and if he continues, make it to the playoffs. But yeah, now my 6 is Russell Westbrook. I think he really played well, and he really kept the Clippers in it. I thought that block on Devin Booker in game 1 was great. That was the only win because they had Kawhi. So I think he definitely upped his value, and he really kept the Clippers in it. And I wasn't really sure about the buyout market, but for him, but it seemed to work out, and he had a great performance.
Yeah. My number 6 is Anthony Davis. Man, was he a force on the defensive end for the Lakers during this series. Obviously, on offense, he was going against Jaren Jackson Jr., current Defensive Player of the Year, one I may not have agreed with, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Anthony Davis was still extremely efficient. And I go back-to-back picks with Anthony. I like both of them.
Yeah, that's very good. I definitely understand that. Now, my 5 is, you mentioned him already, De'Aaron Fox. I think he still put up a lot of points even with that broken finger or with his injury.
Game 7, he really didn't. He only had 16. But Game 6, he was a huge reason, yeah.
Yeah, game 6, and I think maybe just the wear and tear, but yeah, 16 points in the final one, but he was playing incredible. He had 38 in game 3 or game 4.
I
He had
believe it was Game
38
4.
Yeah, it also says he has 38 points in the first one too.
Yeah, Game 1.
Yeah, game 1. So he played incredibly well, and even with the injury, he was still able to put up a lot of points, which surprised me. And you already talked about him, so I just had him a little bit higher.
Yeah, and my number 5 is a guy you already mentioned, Jaylen Brown. He was so efficient during this Hawks series, and he was a huge reason that they ended Trae Young's run. Because Trae Young was the only reason why it went past 5. And while DeJounte Murray was ejected or not allowed to play in Game 5, Trae Young kept him in it. But Brown was much more impressive than Tatum during this series, and I definitely think that Jaylen Brown deserves more props than he gets. But he is such a silent, humble guy that he doesn't really get that.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite players in the NBA, Jaylen Brown. He's incredible.
He's a hard guy to dislike.
Yeah. Number 4 is Kevin Durant for me. Played incredibly well, and he was the main focus. And he still, the only lowest points he got was 25. He still had 29 points in the final, or no, he had 31 points in the final game against the Clippers, where Devin Booker went off. But he's the main option, and he's still putting up points. So him being healthy, I think, led to why I was wrong about the Suns losing in the first round. With him being the focal point of the offense, it allows other players to shine.
Yeah, I probably should have had KD on my list, but I don't. It really came down to my number 4, Devin Booker. Booker is averaging 35.5, tied for the league this playoffs with Jimmy Butler, who I'm sure we both have in the same spot, but we'll get to that eventually.
We'll see. I'm curious.
But Booker's leading in minutes per game. He's averaging 2.3 steals per game, 1.2 blocks. His splits are amazing. 59.1% from the field, 45.2% from 3, 86% from the free throw line. He's been extremely impressive. He's going to be a big reason if they do come back in this Nuggets series. He will be a catalyst along with your guy, Kevin Durant.
Yeah, we kind of switched. I didn't have Devin Booker. I think it was he didn't have to face the tough guy, and that's why he was able to put up a lot of points. So that's why I put Kevin Durant high, because he was still putting up points and being the main focus. But now we'll go to my 3. You already mentioned him, Anthony Davis. I think just the rebounds, him being healthy. Defensively, we talked about the stats. You talked about him dominating. I think him being healthy really makes this Lakers team really dominant.
Certainly. I don't disagree with that. That's the reason why he was on my list. But my number 3 is a guy you neglected to put on, and you already kind of spoiled this because you said there was no Nuggets players. But this is a guy that averages only 0.2 less rebounds than Anthony Davis, but also 5 more points and a lot more assists, and that's Nikola Jokic. He's shooting 50% from 3, Kevin, on 4 attempts, 47.5% from the field. He's not shooting great from free throw, but he's a huge part of a Nuggets team that's looking dominant this playoffs.
Yeah, Jokic has been incredible. I felt bad that I didn't put him on my list, but this number 2 guy for me, it was just tough to fit them all in. My number 2 guy was Steph Curry. Just dominated Game 7. He struggled a little bit, but he's just incredible in the playoffs, and it's great to see him. He has struggled with injuries, but he's the Finals MVP and he played incredible in Game 7.
Yeah, he's my number 2 as well. He didn't shoot incredible from 3 in round 1, only 37.8%, but on 12.9 attempts, which is unheard of from most players in the league. Maybe Dame got up there in one series, I can't remember, but 33.7 points per game. His impact on the team is massive.
Yeah.
Team goes
So
as
I
far
guess
as
we
Curry
do have-
goes.
Huh?
What?
What were you gonna say?
I said the team goes as far as Curry goes. As long as Curry
Yeah.
continues his dominance, they continue to win games.
Yeah, that's very fair, and I totally agree. We do have Jimmy Butler in the same spot, unless you don't have him on the list.
I wouldn't make that mistake.
So we both have Jimmy Butler. Just incredible play. 60 points or 56.
56.
Or he got 56. Okay. Just incredible performance. He really turns it on in the playoffs.
Yeah, and something unheard of from most of his playoff runs, except for maybe some of his early runs in Chicago and the one playoff series he had with Memphis, is he's hitting his threes. 42.9% from behind the arc on 4.7 attempts. There's no bad part to his game, and his defensive ability, his ability to stay or have stamina throughout the entirety of a series and throughout an entire game is extremely impressive.
Yeah, it's incredible what FCR does in the second round, but there are our top 10 performers in the first round. Let us know what you think. Did we leave someone off? Do you disagree with someone who we have on? We appreciate it. Make sure to hit up on our socials, OO_podcast on Twitter, OO_podcast20 on Instagram. That's where we're at. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.